Yo, donation and mining family. What's going on? What up? What up? What up? All you happy hashers out there, what's going on? Let's see, we got Crypto Badell in the house. We got Nitro Crypto. What's going on? Dropping those FAs in the Chizzity chat because you guys are rated F for freaking awesome. That's right, guys. You are all awesome. Thank y'all for being here. Don't forget to smash that lizardy like button as you're sliding on in here. And, kind of give a shout out on your favorite socials, because I don't think all the time that everybody's getting the notification. So sometimes we have to be the notification, as they say, right? So what is going on? Hopefully everybody's having a wonderful day. All that good stuff. Sorry for being just like a couple minutes late. I had updated my drivers for my graphics card, so everything else needed to catch up to that one. Without any further ado, let's kind of dig right on into things. And as we see here, Bitcoin doing Bitcoin things. This is Coin Checkup. Another free tool that I sometimes look at. This kind of gives me a gauge of the whole, like a lot of the poop coin market right along with it. So you get to see a lot of the other market noise, and you can see that a lot of the market, not much of the market is truly in green. They are in green in the 24-hour, but in the 7-day, they're still taking a bloodbath. So you'll see that a lot of these poop coins, it takes them several days to recover next to that sweet obesity coin that sits there and recovers, and even on the 7-day is not doing horrible. It basically recovered for the 7 days. 24-hour definitely up. Even Ethereum's up, but still in the 7-day did not come up high enough to recover the past 7 days. So it's still down overall. Tether, of course, should not be green or red. It should just kind of be sideways. It should always just kind of hold on to that dollar, the dollar mark. XRP, it's like teetering that 49 cents, trying to hit 49 cents with all of the SEC, kind of halfway good news for them. But even in the 7-day, they are still almost 5% down on the 7-day. So it's not like they are doing good. It's not like they recovered. Their market is kind of boring overall. They got their little hype during the whole SEC thing, but do they really have a XRP army at this point anymore? I doubt it. What up, John Jermaine? What's going on, my dude? We're seeing a lot of these coins just kind of doing their thing. Doge is still down on the 7-day. But who cares? Doge, it was never supposed to make anybody money. Let's just be real about that. What up, Gundy? Stuff and things. Yo. Cardano's, even up 2%, still down 4.5%. Damn. Tron actually doing pretty decent. They're having a hell of a run up on Tron. So for all of you Tron holders, you're as long as you didn't buy it at the height of the market, you're doing pretty good in your position if you bought at the bottom. Litecoin, not doing good either. You're at 2.5% gains in the 24 hours, but in the 7-day, you're still down. Litecoin has been just ever so ticking down further and further. Holding its dominancy on the coin market cap, being in the top 20. But I remember back in the day that they were in the top 10. So things that were once in the top 10 don't always stay in the top 10. I'm just saying. Even though, Charlie Lee being a Bitcoin developer at one point in time, it's like even with his own vision, it's not perfect. And it's not going to sit there and always gain traction. Even after their halvening and stuff like that, they just haven't been doing good after their halvenings. Not unlike Bitcoin seems to hit their halvening and it takes a tick up. Uh, Unfortunately, that Litecoin, as much as a lot of people like Litecoin, um, if it holds at that, like, let's say a consistent $60 where it's at right now, not so bad. You can kind of use it almost as a stable currency. But if it keeps ticking down the way it's been over the course of many years here, where you're not going to see anything but bull run hype, you're going to be able to cash out at the hype of a market, and you're basically dealing with another coin to gamble on, unfortunately. So, I mean, a lot of these coins, they are still not doing good in the 7-day, but, that Bizity Bitcoin, doing pretty decent. That's all that matters, right, guys? That's all that really matters. Now that some of you guys are all rolling on in here, let's go ahead and get into some of the news. I just kind of glance over this. I haven't looked at Coin Checkup in months, so interesting to look at it, see where all the other poop coins are at in the top 100. But we want to see hardware. We want to see all that good stuff. So, bam, we have AIDA 64 developers announced improved support for AMD Zen 5. The benchmarking and diagnostic tools have recently undergone significant updates with its latest version, introducing a notable enhancements in its hardware. So if you guys are looking for benchmarking tools, see if you guys have, the quote-unquote lottery winner. This could be a tool that you could sit there and kind of benchmark to see if you've got one that'll hit the max boost frequencies. So interesting tools. I'm an overclocker fan, so for me, it lets me know before I put the card onto a rig if I can actually push this one theoretically harder. Most of the time, if it benchmarks really good, it usually hashes a little bit higher. I mean, you're not talking like leaps and bounds. Sometimes it does it for the same wattage, but for me, it's always interesting to see where the max stable area would be for it while pulling as much power off of it. Because that's what's kind of cool about it, is you can sit there and start boosting its frequency really hard, find a really good boosted frequency, and then start pulling power back until it crashes. And be like, oh, okay, we have a lottery winner here, and put that onto the special rig. So it's just like more tools if you guys get into like trying to benchmark your own stuff. Or, of course, it's got the diagnostic tools on there. Let's say you're having a weird stability issue on there and you're like, man, I can't, like, it doesn't make sense. I've taken off the overclocks and it's still acting kind of funky. It should have some diagnostic tools on there to be able to take a look at your at the CPU itself and be able to, see why it's acting goofy. Is there a dead core on there? Is there a failing core on it? So, and again, it's like, how many people out there are going to be CPU mining? I know I do. I have like 5 rigs right now CPU mining. So, and they're all with AMD. So this is kind of even a nicer tool. Also, it'll kind of give you your benchmarks for where you can push the cores at safely. If you have any kind of issues, you can diagnose it. Of course, it's just tools. If you guys get into the diagnostic end of it, I know a lot of people, once it stops hashing stably, they're like, yeah, I'm not doing that no more. That chip kind of got hurt, so we no longer mine on that chip anymore. And sometimes it's just that over time you had a little degradation and your overclock is too aggressive now and you need to dial it back, and that was the only issue. And there was actually no dead core in the process. So, I mean, it can be a net positive if you're trying to diagnose something goofy, like you're like, oh man, it's been hashing for months like this and no issues. I've had GPUs, the AMD GPUs, that over the course of about 8 months, I had to tone down some of the memory overclocks on it. There was a small little degradation in the memory, and after that, it was stable. So, I mean, it is a real thing. So, I mean, just kind of keeping in mind that it's the AIDA 64. So it's just a developer, a benchmarking and diagnostic tool. Kind of cool stuff. Other hardware that's kind of cool, talking about AMD, we got the RX 7600 XT 12 gigabyte and 10 gigabyte variant. So Power Color submits the RTX 7600 graphics card with 2 different memory variants. Now, I'm actually interested to see which one, if both, they're going to release. Why might you ask? Thanks for asking. With each one of the memory variants comes with a different memory bus. So if you get the 12 gigabyte variant, you get 192 memory bit bus with. So that is for me, that's like a standard memory bus bandwidth at 192 gigabytes per second. At the 10 gigabytes, gets 160 bits. So your memory bus is slower with the 10 gigabyte. That will hit performance, because you got to think of it. It's almost like for me, the relationship between an engine and a transmission, right? You have a torque curve of a transmission, you have a torque curve of an engine. Well, the relationship in frequency is the same thing when it comes down to the memory and the core, right? So you got to get the frequencies, like the bandwidth on a transmission and an engine, to kind of mash up. And when they hit that little cross point, that's when the frequencies all match up and you have the best performance. Anything outside of those frequency areas doesn't work. So if my memory is slower, that means I'm not going to be able to boost the frequency up the same way. So it's going to look like, oh my god, I got this crazy frequency that I can boost up to, but the memory bus is slower. Your performance is going to be nerfed on your CPU. Not the CPU, on the VGA core. Even if the 2 VGA cores are identical. If they've got different memory on there, you're going to have 2 different performances out of the same chip. And it's going to be a way for them to basically cut a corner. So they're going to be able to put cheaper components up onto there that are going to be lower wattage. So they don't have to put so much into the radiator. They can put more of a generic radiator on there. I mean, I can see some of the pros on there, because it'll put it into an area where you're going to be able to afford it, right? But know that if you get the lesser model, for mining wise, it's not going to perform as nice. Just saying. I mean, that's just without saying, right? And considering that the 7600 non-XT is going to be an 8 gigabyte at 120 bit 8-bit bus width. So we already have the lower end tier on this. Just kind of be careful which one you're going after. Hopefully they don't come out with the 10 gigabyte and it's only the 12. But there probably is a market for a 10 gigabyte, especially if it's $200 less. That will entice somebody more budget orientated and still wants a newer GPU. This is going to be right up their alley. Just know that it's not going to be what we want for mining at all. And then if you guys have been updating your Windows rigs and you got a newer GPU like myself, I'm just touching upon this just because it actually affects me just a little bit. just a little bit. I got a 3080 Ti. I had the driver 537.16 or something like that, 14, and it was the last driver update. And ever since then, I've been having like little flickering issues again on my screen. Even while I'm just sitting idling, I'll watch all my icons on my screen kind of flash. And overall, it doesn't affect anything. It's just, you'll just see it like it's just like the screen tears. With this, I just, like I said, I just updated my drivers on this, hoping that a lot of this will kind of be resolved. But what's kind of funny is this is what they're touching upon with the issues that they're fixing with DaVinci Resolve, Halo Infinite. These are everything that's compatible with yada yada yada. This is what they're highlighting, right? You have to go into their notes from NVIDIA directly to see all the little different issues that they were having, because they're not going to be sitting there and, Cat, you are going nuts inside that box. Got a cat in a box. So amongst having gaming issues with just gaming bugs here and there, you start coming into it, and there is a G-Sync maybe enabled in windowed mode, even if only on full screen mode is specific. So there's issues with that. I do have an NVIDIA monitor. That's usually where I would see my tearing while it was in windowed mode. So hopefully that kind of fixes it. And then it's got some stuff that doesn't apply to me, being on Optimus systems. Damaged or missing WMI service prevents NVIDIA driver installation. Background tag memory. So there's an issue with total available graphics memory being reported incorrectly. That can cause like little momentary glitches where it will basically kind of reset itself. I don't know if that's might be something I was having an issue with. Probably not. 4-way SLI or multi GPU performance, not applicable to me in my situation. No physics acceleration using the GPU. That would be more gameplay stuff right there with PhysX software. So, I mean, there was like a lot of different little issues that they were having. So, I'm not sure if any of these ones, particularly without really going into and reading everything for the new drivers updates, if anybody's is that boring and can sit there and wants to go through all of that, that is on them. But I did notice with the last driver update that it did affect the mining, because every once in a while I do test out with my machine, see if what it does. I'll mine, get some of that sweet busy Bitcoin. There's nothing wrong with that, right, guys? Nothing wrong with that. And the last driver update, because like Serpent X had said something about the last driver update affecting mining a little bit on his end. I went and tried mining, and it did pull back some of my my hash rate, almost like there was a resource problem inside of it. It used more resources on the GPU than before, so I'll be doing some, like I just updated, so I will be doing some testing again, see if the new drivers are affecting me on Windows. Typically when I see the driver updates in Hive OS side, I don't see too many issues with whenever it's a supported driver update through Hive. So for like Hive and Simple Miner OS, I usually have no problems with pushing their driver updates. but you start putting in the if you start manually inputting your driver updates, you can have your own issues with that too. So kind of take that with a grain of salt. That sometimes even for the Linux side, the drivers are a little experimental. Sometimes it takes a couple of weeks. I've played around with Hive and put and forced a driver update because I knew the new driver update was in, and I had to revert it back to the old driver because none of the miners had updated to the new drivers yet. So sometimes you got to wait for the miners to be completely updated, because if they change a library or something like that, the miners have to change too. So you might be stuck on an older driver temporarily until everything has been ironed out. What is up, MC? So that's some of the reasons why I kind of pay attention to a little bit of the driver updates, because it does affect the miners, guys. Especially if you're wanting to just update and you're just automatically updating stuff, you can mess up your mining experience. Talking about mining experiences, I don't know about you, but mining ain't too profitable these days. I mean, let me go ahead and refresh this. It's only been like a half an hour that this has been up. Or no, I'm sorry, an hour. This has been up for an hour. So let's go ahead and refresh it. So 4090 is making 24 cents a day profit in SkyDoge. That's your most profitable GPU right now, running 510 watts. So you're basically utilizing 1,000 watt power supply for this. A single 1,000 watt power supply, because this is already running 510 watts. You can't put two of these on a single power supply unless you're putting a HP 1200 watt and you're running on 240 volt. Then you can put two of these down, and that's going to be a server grade stuff, and that'll be able to hold that kind of wattage being utilized out of it. You're going to hear the cooling fan on it, guarantee you. It's going to be a loud one. But yeah, the 4090, for a giant rig of these, to have 8 of these, you're stuck running this thing on 240 volt in order to have the amount of wattage you're going to need. It's like an 8 card rig at 510 watts. You know what I'm saying? You're looking at over 4,000 watts worth of power. You might as well be Bitcoin mining at that point, in my honest opinion. You might as well, for that kind of wattage, for 3,500 watts, I can be mining Bitcoin. And I'm not going to be sitting there and mining on a speculative coin. And then the very next coin down from that, I mean, you're looking at, what is this? Your 24-hour profit is like what? Between 73 and 93 cents, 37 and 29 cents. Radiant, you're at 8 to 14 cents. Pepe, proof of work, you're at 2 cents to 60 cents. I mean, because a lot of these stuff's like just kind of all over the place. You drop off relatively quickly, guys, is the big thing. So I mean, your profitability overall, you're looking at 24 cents, 16 cents, and you start walking it down, and you're like, well, I have a 3080 Ti, right? I have a 3080 Ti. Where's my 3080 Ti? 3060 Ti, 1660. I have one of these. Hey man, that's losing me money here on Dynex 1660 Ti. Where's my 3080 Ti? I don't see it. I'd like pass it up. Here we go. Wow, it's down on the list here. I'd be losing about 7 to 8 cents a day. And the further down the list I go, the more money I'd be losing per day. Especially if I'm using this stuff to pay my electric bill at the same time, right? It's like if I'm like, you know what? I don't want to have to pull this out of my pocket. Whatever's left is what's left. You wouldn't be mining with a lot of this stuff down here. You'd be like, you know what? I'm not gonna mine with that because at a certain point your profitable cards are basically going to be paying for the unprofitable cards. Unless you're getting a great electric rate deal and running those cards are contributing to the lower electric rate, then sure, run them. But if you're like me, I'm about 11 cents per kilowatt hour, about the national average, and you're not very profitable with a lot of the cards. I mean, I do have a 6800 XT. Not very profitable, I let's see here. I do have 6600, but mine are the XTs. So I do have a bunch of these. I could be making 4 cents a day with them on Dynex. Is it totally worth running it? I got 2 rigs of 8. Is it worth doing 4 cents times 16? Knowing that, it's like, yeah, it does add up, when you're running that kind of hardware. But to see that electric bill, because I don't want to pay for it out of pocket, necessarily. I got to look at it as a business. What up, Goblin? What up? So here you're always stuck in that dilemma of how you're wanting to mine yourself. Are you paying for it out of pocket and mining away, and then you're just making sure that you can afford the electric bill at the end of the day. You can run whatever hardware you want because you're just going to pay the electric bill. Doesn't make so much of an issue. I would be sitting there looking at stuff that's going to be more power efficient still. I wouldn't be running a 4090 at 500 watts. That's resource intensive, needless to say. 6800 XTs, perfect. Chris Rolling, are you mining now? Yes, I am. I'm mining on CPUs because I'm trying to mine on the most efficient hardware. I do still have all my ASICs. I still have all my GPUs, ranging from 580s, 1070s, 6600 XTs. I have a 6600, a 1660 Ti, some 1080 Ti's. I mean, I have a full gambit of GPUs, A2000s, 3090s. I got a whole slew of those. And I have my 3080 Ti that's in my main computer right now. But yeah, I mean, I pretty much, as long as it's not losing me just a whole gobstop of money, I'd like to be making more than just 4 cents to be running it. Some people are willing to sit there and, like, again, pay for the electric bill right out of pocket, and it makes perfect sense to, run it if you got it. If you're just paying the electric bill out of your pocket and it is not exceeding your means, right? For me, I run my stuff, and I'm like a $2,000 to $2,500 a month electric bill. Easy. So I've got to be careful of what hardware I'm running, because if it's all profitable, yes, I'm gonna run it all. If it's not profitable, I'm picking and choosing the best plan of action. Always. Like I am not goblins. Like I am not mining right now. Doom. It's all good. It's like understanding, brother. For sure, Chris. For sure. So, yeah, I mean, that it's like you just got to kind of pick out which way you're going with it. I mean, you can mine and not pay for it out of pocket, or you're going to be mining and paying for it out of pocket. So, and then you just got to pick out which direction you want to go with it. Kind of always revert to your lists on here. You know, running a couple of GPUs out of pocket. You know, electric wise, you're really not spending a whole lot. You know, even if you got like, let's say you got two 4090s and you're like, hey, you know what, I'm gonna mine with them. Um, Even running that, you're talking what 50, 60 cents a day each. Um, Running 24/7 like that. How bad is that really overall for for most people? Say let's say a dollar. Let's say you're going to spend $1.50 a day over the course of 30 31 days. That's what your bill is going to add up to. And that's just kind of how you have to calculate it. And as you start adding in more GPUs, I know that a 1070 and a 1070 Ti is 25 cents per day each one. So if I've got four of them, it's $1 a day. That's 30 $31 a month for four of them. You add another four on there, you're 60 $62 a month. So I mean, you start seeing how it just adds up really quick. uh in a Bitcoin ASIC, 3500 watts, you're going to be looking at like $200 a month in electric bills just for a single Bitcoin miner. um Plus, you're going to have to with a running it at 3,500 watts. You got to have 240 volt. So now you got to make sure you got 240 volt, 30 amp service for one ASIC, just one. So we all, it's like it. It's never like a perfect thing of me telling people, oh, everybody should be mining. Um, there are times where what, just purchasing Bitcoin, not financial advice. I have to add this in, YouTube's. But purchasing Bitcoin versus mining is the better option. And then sometimes for me, mining is the better option over just purchasing Bitcoin because I can mine for more Bitcoin than I am gonna just be able to purchase it. So you have your trade-offs, and you can see with certain GPUs already, you know, um, a 6600 XT making 4 cents a day. You know, in other words, whatever I'm spending on electric, I'm earning 4 more cents in Bitcoin than I would have taken that same electric bill and paying for Bitcoin. And then you come all the way up to the top card. I'm making 24 cents over the same amount of electricity being spent. So, and you're going to be dealing with a much bigger bill with a 4090. You know, so kind of put that into perspective. It's like mining is not for everyone. I, for one, cannot afford it. Facts, bro. Facts. It is a resource intensive industry. For some, it's a hobby. For some, it's a passion. For some, it's a lifestyle, and for some, it is their career. And as much as I would love to turn this into my career, uh, right now, it's my passion. Uh, because my business I shut down, so I tried to turn this into the career side of it. Just kind of ran out of funds. So try again, right, as they say. Um, but with this setup here, the 4090s are going to be your most profitable, but the most expensive overall. Um, Mining is not like, if you've got the hardware right now and you can find it on deals, sometimes you're going to be grabbing the hardware and you're going to be sitting on it until we go back into another bull run, and the profitability comes back into the full market. Until then, um, there's just really not enough going on with a lot of these altcoins to warrant all the compute power that's being allocated towards the crypto industry right now. In other words, there are far more players in the market trying to cash in on the hype that's no longer there. So until there's a new hype cycle and a new coin comes into play that everybody wants to jump on the bandwagon with, we are not going to see these astronomical rises with a lot of these different coins and stuff. So we're not going to see the next Ethereum blasting off like we did, and guys were making $10,000, $20,000 per month mining Ethereum. There was plenty of people doing that, and they were home miners. You're talking about a lifestyle change. And I capitalized on a lot of that and tried to start up a business with it. Until we go into another cycle like that, I don't know truly if GPU mining is going to be mega profitable long term. There is that. Does it mean that I'm giving up in the mining world? Oh hell no! That's why I'm still mining. It's just, again, you got to be the most profitable and you have to be the smartest with how your mining strategy is. A hobbyist is going to pay for it out of their pocket, and the electric bill out of pocket. They're going to hold on to these coins and wait until it goes through another bull run cycle, and they'll be able to cash out into the Bitcoin, and you're going to do pretty good in some aspects if you're doing that. Not everybody wins like that. That's still gambling at the end of the day. So right now, I haven't, like, I've got friends that told me, oh, should I get into mining now? And I'm like, if you're willing to purchase the hardware and sit on it, because some of the hardware that they're going to be looking at is not in the profitability range, and I don't want somebody to be getting into mining and going, oh yeah, you told me to get these GPUs, you said mining was great, and I'm like, no, I told you specifically that you're going to be sitting on them because it doesn't make money right now for you. You're going to be stacking sats and hodling. You're not going to see any profits. So yeah. So a lot of people are just going to have to kind of hold off here with the mega profits until there's another hype cycle on something. I haven't seen anything that's really made a big buzz. It's why it's like I've been looking at setting up my my Bitcoin ASICs here at the house and running some Bitcoin ASICs. And that's why I'm working on trying to purchase something that'll be amazing, that will help keep my ASICs quiet. I'll leave it at that. I'm trying to work out a deal to purchase something to make the ASICs quiet. Gotta do some update on these boxes. I wouldn't doubt it that you'll have to do like updates here and there with ASICs, especially depending on your cooling solutions on it. If you're putting it inside of if you're just like porting and venting it, are you putting it into a silence box? Are you immersion mining it? Depending on what you're cool, are you doing a water wall, just doing some massive air cooling on it? You're gonna want to have your miners be in the best optimum format. Some of them you want to put into low power mode because you don't want to generate too much heat. And some of like the bit mains, you got to sit there and do a hardware update or not a hardware update, a software update to enable some of the low power modes, so that you could drop the wattage overall, get it under, get it around 3,000 watts or less, and really just generate a lot less heat. That's the name of the game, is to try to keep these units from getting too hot. A lot of these miners don't like to be hot, and with it also coming into wintertime for me, it makes sense for me to try to start firing up some ASICs here, guys. I'm just saying. Just saying. If I could sit there and fire up some more ASICs here, I will be very happy. So, going into other like little news here, guys. Guys, if you are into Solana at all, be careful about Solana. A lot of people don't realize this. You'll have a lot of your poop coiners out there hyping up Solana because of everything that's built on Solana. But realize, hey, what's up, All Set Miner? What's up? What's up, everybody? So be careful with Solana. FTX holds a lot, and they're trying to ask for permission right now to be able to liquidate its holdings. However, some participants are considering declining the price as opportunity to accumulate. Does on-chain data agree? So you're going to be if they sit there and actually sell off, you're going to watch the price of Solana's ecosystem collapse. They have a lot on their balance. FTX's imminent liquidation has left Solana in a sorry state. The token, which is its biggest holding of the now collapsing exchange, has dropped down to 1798, resulting in a 6.98, almost a 7% decrease in the last 7 days. It's going to get worse, fellas. If they drop their holdings, I don't know how Solana's going to sit there and really recover within its own market. Does this mean that everything that's built upon Solana is done? No. It just means that the pricing for this is way devalued, and a lot of the ecosystem that's built on it is also going to be devalued. This is going to be basically a big siphoning event of value out of the Solana ecosystem. So I don't know about you guys, but I wouldn't say this is like, FOMO out of the, FUD your way out of this market, but you need to make a decision for yourself on, are you willing to ride this one down if FTX sells? Because there's not going to be enough buyers on the other end to reprop the price back up. So kind of be careful with that. It's like Soul agree. Soul is looking for exit liquidity. 100%. Looks cheap, but only good at $9. It's like, oh, nice choice of words. Sorry, state. Yeah. Goblin, BitBoy's partnership didn't do him dirty. BitBoy is a drug addict that let his fame get to his head. Um, I do not feel bad for what BitBoy has done to himself. Um, I'm sorry if you liked him. Um, he was a poop coin scam shiller. Uh, he was funny. I met the guy years ago. It's not like I have not had my run-ins with him, but at the time when I met BitBoy, he was big. He was a little into poop coins, but a big Bitcoin advocate. At some point in time, whenever he lost his avocation for being a Bitcoin proponent, that's when I lost my respect for him. Yeah, he's not the greatest person. I mean, I can go on a little rant about him, but it's not worth my time. Really, it's not. Uh, I say to each their own. People tend to make their own beds that they lie in. That's just kind of how I kind of look at it. Um, and without any further ado, let's go ahead and get into the meat and potatoes of today's topic here, guys. Bam. No, it really isn't worth the energy. Just like, but bam, this is more worth my energy to understand what the hell's going on with Gary Gensler as he testified to the Senate. Here are his statements about cryptocurrency, guys. So, uh, citing the grayscale decisions, Senator Bill Hagerty asked Gensler what would they need to see for the SEC to approve a Bitcoin spot ETF. Gensler responded, "We are still reviewing this decision. We have multiple applications we are reviewing and awaiting the team's recommendations." Um, while talking to Mark Warner about the AI deepfakes, Gary Gensler brought up the fake news that he would resign the SEC and chairman in July, which he said he speculated that the person behind the rumor wanted to influence the stock market or the crypto prices. Gary Gensler said that fakes and artificial intelligence are the real risk for markets. So even he's realizing that you can sit there and do deep fakes and stuff like that and get a group of people to kind of FOD their way in and out of FOMO or FUD their way in and out of markets. So be careful with all this stuff. uh, I mean, it's like as more of this AI stuff comes out, we're gonna see more AI style advertisements to try to influence your purchasing powers. So always keep your head on a swivel when it comes down to stupid stuff like that. Uh, he's recognizing that unfortunately there's a serious mismatch in the crypto space right now. This field is rifled with fraud, abuse, and malfeasance. And you know what? Unfortunately, he's 100% right, guys. 100% right. I mean, like, how many times do we, if you're a crypto OG, you know how many times you've seen crypto scams come and go. I mean, even I've been nailed for one. It's like, oh, it hurts, especially when you're sitting there and you're like, oh man, this looks like I'm going to be buying a whole bunch of GPUs at a wholesale price. Nope. It's like everybody, ends up learning a valuable lesson once or twice in their life. If not, you're lying. Everybody goes through their son of I should have seen this coming, right? Senator Cortez Masto asked whether the SEC had enough staff to address fraud in crypto. Gensler said the organization is only 3% larger than it was 8 years ago, so we are not big enough. He needs more government. Thank you, Gary. Gensler attacked crypto once again. He's like, I've been in the financial world for 44 years. I have never seen an area so riddled with abuse. It's frightening. He's basically referring this to the early days of the stock market, and that crypto is going through the same phase that the stock market went through, and needs to have the same regulation. Since the whole FTX stuff, he is absolutely like on the warpath on clamping down on crypto in this space. Period. His words. Given the industry's widespread non-compliance with the security laws, it is not surprising that we see many problems in these markets. We've seen this story before. It's reminiscent of what we experienced in the 1920s, before the federal securities law crimes came into force. Given that most crypto tokens are subject to security laws, it follows the most crypto brokers must comply with security laws. A crypto broker is going to be somebody who they're going to look at as anybody who trades crypto is now a broker. Whether you are selling it to somebody else, you can be considered a broker, which means that you need to follow U.S. laws if you're here in the U.S. is the way that he's trying to put this out. So kind of have an understanding that he is really clamping down. He sees this as still being the Wild West. That's a good thing, because that means we're still early, guys. That means we have plenty of time to accumulate before the market really goes boom and to the moon, as they would say, right? Do you think of Skynet is able to mine crypto? No, not at all. Not at all. Oh, that's so true, Goblin. Goblin's like, I mean, I'm poor. So in a technical term, I am broke. You know, laughing is, you know what, off. You know, because he's broke. Broker today than he was yesterday. But oh yeah, that is 100% all set miner. Keep in mind that a lot of coins are gonna be reducing its mining rewards. That is 100% true, because all these coins, all these poop coins, are gonna want to introduce a false scarcity on a non-decentralized token. So unfortunately, yes, we will be seeing this. And as that fight ramps up, we'll see a lot of those coins turn into zombie coins. It should be no surprise that some of the coins that we see right now are going to be the next generation of zombie coins. ETHW, zombie coin. Whoa!
Sorry.
We have a chicken in the house.
She's been broody all day. I need to get her to stop. Sorry. I didn't expect her to do that.
Because she likes me. We have our chicken. So if anybody's wondering about our chickens, they're huge.
And she's trying to sit here and think she's going to be a mom, and she's not.
It's like, she's beautiful, cool. We got chunkin'. We have proof of chunkin'.
It's
okay. It's okay.
I see those cats. I'm not happy about it. Are you calm now?
It's like, let the chicken poop fly. So, I think right now I'm gonna end this right here because we got a chunkin' in the house. So, thank you everybody being here. Smash the lizardy like button for the chunkin'. Definitely, everybody, smash that lizardy like button. Subscribe, hit the bell notification, all that good stuff. Thank you all for being here. And with that being said, peace out, stay savage. May your hash be high, your watts be low. And I'll see you on the next one. Yo.